he makes a decision to jump off the boat.
Yeah,
and swim to her.
Because like obviously the boat's not gonna stop for him. He's like,
well, he tried to stop the boat a little bit.
He's like, please turn around, please. But yeah, so he jumps off the boat
and he turns into freaking Michael Phelps.
Hi, my name is Amy.
Hi, I'm Nanan.
And welcome back to Bingeable Beans. Are you laughing? Are you laughing at my voice?
No.
I hope you get sick. Oh my god, guys, I'm sick. Are you ready to stay up all night and talk about When Life Gives You Tangerines?
Part 1.
Yeah.
And we're going to refer to Kwonsik as
Sim.
And then Esun as Sunny. So the show starts off talking about Sunny and Sim's love story. Introduces their family, and then how they get together and the hardships that they have to go through.
Yeah, because they're really dirt poor.
Yes.
And they show us when Sunny and Sim they were just really very little, and he was always a sim for her. He would give her, because Sunny was always the really, really dirt poor one. Simp, he had like a family that he had food and stuff. He would feel bad for her because she would have to live off to her uncle, and then she had to wash the dishes. Like, they would use her, and they wouldn't even feed her.
Yeah,
because I just don't. I think he's jealous, the uncle, that his son is not the same as Sunny. Anyways,
yeah.
Simp comes by and he gives them 6 fishes instead of 5, and the uncle's like, "Why did you give me 6?" He's like, "You have like 6 members in your family. How come you don't buy 6 fishes?" And he's like, I don't know what he says, but yeah.
And they go through extra hardships because the whole setting is on Jeju Island. This first bit, at least. This is where they live. And Jeju Island's like a countryside, a small island away from the mainland of Korea. So everything is
a bit different.
Different, but a lot more difficult. They don't have access to as many good resources as people do in mainland. And also, this was just a time where Korea was very struggling in general.
Yeah, let alone like an island that's away from the mainland.
And Sunny was always more poor because she didn't have a proper family. Her dad died young, and then her mom remarried, but her mom left her to her dad's side. But then like Sunny would always want to go back to her mom, but her mom like is also struggling too. Her mom is a diver.
Not just any diver, not like, oh, I dive for fun. She dives to earn a living. Her mom was the specific. In Jeju Island, they have these group of ladies that dive, and they're not just any kind of diving. They don't dive with oxygen tanks or anything. Yeah, they just raw dog it.
Yeah, they raw dog it. And
all they have is just goggles.
Yeah. And so it's extra dangerous. These ladies, they don't know when they're going to die. They don't know. Every single time they dive, they don't know if they're going to make it up or not. Make it out.
Anyway. Don't you think they're very healthy, though? Because, like, they've been training themselves to dive underwater like that and doing that constantly every day. Don't you think they like their lungs are like bigger?
Oh no, yeah. But I think it's just so dangerous because you don't know what can happen. Even if you're like healthy, you don't know what can. It's the ocean. You know what I mean?
I guess.
You don't know what can appear, or like a storm could come out of nowhere.
Or you think they get worn out because that's just a lot of physical work.
No, that could also happen because they don't have the proper nutrients to be.
I find it odd that it's specifically women diving.
Yeah, I don't know what it stems.
And not the men.
I don't know what it stems from. There has to be like, because it's a specific group of ladies. They have a name and everything.
Yeah.
So it has to be like. We should look into it next time.
Like, we should look into it. Because they said something about how, like when girls grow up to her age, they're ready to like learn how to dive.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think it's not the same, but a similar concept to ballerinas. Whenever you train young, then when you're young, that's when everything is growing. And your body's adapting to things, whatever, right? So and your body's like flexible, this and that. So if you start young, then your body will be trained and ready for it. I think that's the idea. But yeah, so they're dirt poor, and that's the background of Sunny's, right? And so when they're older, Simp is still going after her. He's not even going after her. He's just by her side helping her. He's not... He
just follows her.
Yeah, he just follows her, and he just is next to her all the time. And then eventually, you know, fast forward, they're finally together, and they have a hard time being together because...
Why?
Simp's family... I mean, one thing is Sunny wanted to have like a better life. So she wanted to leave this island, right? And they tried to escape, but then they failed. And then do that, that's when they came back, that failed escape attempt or whatever, Sim's mom really tried to break them apart by telling Sunny, oh, you should go on this blind date with this rich guy, this and that. And then she agrees because she's also thinking that like she's holding Sim's back from his potential.
Didn't both families try to separate them? Or is it mainly just Sim's?
It was more Sim's because she didn't really have much of a family to be holding
that's true.
her back.
It was her uncle. It was like...
Yeah. But her uncle was kind of just there. Like, he didn't have much say. Like, he could yap. But, like, she wouldn't have cared. It didn't matter much to her because she wasn't living...
That's true. Especially Sim's family. Sim's family's grandma is a shaman.
Something like that. She just really...
religious.
Yeah, really believes in that.
Superstition. Yeah.
So yeah, his mom tried to break them up, and she set them up on blind date, right? And so when he heard that, he was like, oh, obviously devastated, right? So then he lost hope, and then he was like, okay, he's gonna go do this like athlete thing that he's able to go to the mainland to do. The only reason he was so good at the athletic stuff though was because he liked her, like Sunny. He did it for her. That's why like when he got on that boat to go to the main island to this like competition, he's like so out of it because he's thinking there's no point anymore.
Yeah, the guy's like, oh, are you telling me like you're good without her? Like you're gonna win all these medals, you're gonna forget about her? He's like, well, the only reason why I won medals is because of her.
He was like, the only reason I ran that many laps was because of her. He's like, no sane person runs that many laps.
Yeah.
And so he's like out of it, right? Like he's miserable on this boat. And then on the other hand, Sunny runs away from that rich guy. She was going to marry him. She was supposed to marry him, but she runs away because it kind of clicks her head. She can't do this. And she would rather like be with Simp. So she's running as the boat is going away farther and farther. She's running, trying to catch him. And it looks like pathetic from an outsider point of view, right? Because it's raining too. Of course it had to rain.
Yeah.
And then like all the older people see her running, and then she plops on, it's like a pier, I
don't even know what it's called, but I know there's a word for it. A dock? No.
There's a name. A dike? I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. But yeah, and she finally makes it to the end of this like pier, and she plops down. She's just crying, and she's screaming his name. And then for some reason, mind you, the boat is far away
at this point. Yeah,
it's far away. It's not possible for you to see her or hear her. But he has this like intuition. He's just like, huh?
He turns around.
Yeah, and then he makes the decision. Get this, okay? He makes a decision to jump off the boat.
Yeah,
and swim to her.
Because like obviously the boat's not gonna stop for him. He's like,
he tried to stop the boat a little bit.
He's like, please turn around, please. But yeah, so he jumps off the boat
and he turns into freaking Michael Phelps, and he starts swimming super fast.
It's so far away too from the island. They just left the boat, but it was so far. Dang.
And like, all the ladies are like, oh my gosh, someone just jumped off the boat, this and that. And you know, of course he makes it to her, and like that's from there they get married, this and that, right? And the mother-in-law, Sim's mother, is still not happy, obviously.
They were mad.
Yeah. Whenever she saw him swimming towards her, she was like, dang it, my plans.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't. Nothing is keeping them apart. And then the grandma, so they're married now at this point, right? The grandma, Sim's grandma, and his mom is not.
I mean, they just have to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They eventually did, but they just still give her a hard time throughout their marriage and her pregnancy and everything. They keep throwing like daggers at her, and the grandma keeps throwing beans at her.
Yeah.
I thought that was so absurd.
That must be so mad annoying.
Yeah.
Getting hit by beans every day.
Yes. But the fact that she was just able to kind of withstand it, she just had to kind of accept it.
She just had to. I think she had accepted her fate. Because at first she was like, I don't want to be with someone whose family doesn't want me. But she wanted to be with him so bad that she just had to accept that.
It clicked whenever she had that brief moment with that rich guy where she was like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
And she saw how he acted and she was like, I don't want this.
She was like, he doesn't eat sugar cubes all day.
Yeah. And so mom and the grandma, the whole time the grandma's super like superstitious too, right? And she's like she's saying, oh, you have your mom's bad spirits,
like her ghost is still like near you or behind you.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why she keeps throwing beans. I think the beans was like supposed to cleanse her. It was so upsetting watching that.
Why?
Because you have to see her like, oh, she's withstanding it. It must be so annoying. But at the same time, I understand why they reacted like that.
Like the grandma and the mom. Why?
In a sense where
they're trying to help.
Yeah, for her son. You know what I mean? She would want better for her son. Obviously, it's not the right thing to treat her like that. But especially in that time period where everything was a lot more conservative and traditional. I could see why they reacted like that.
I guess so. I mean, towards the end of it, when they finally left, she left her in-laws, Sim's parents and Sim's mom and grandma. They couldn't do it anymore. Or no, first of all, Sunny couldn't deal it with anymore. She was like, bro, that's my daughter. You're not gonna make her do this, do that. She's not gonna be this.
I think that was...
She flipped the table. She walked away and she was like screaming, and the mom's like, have you lost your mind? Slapped her. Grandma screaming, fainting over. And that's when they finally left. But
yeah, I think her final straw was her daughter. Like, you could do it to me, but you're not gonna do it to my daughter.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. Oh, this is very brief about this because you mentioned the flipping of the table. That was kind of my favorite quote, was whenever she was talking to Simp about her daughter. She was like, I want her to be able to flip tables when she's angry. And then he was like, you flip it too. You flip it and I'll take care of it. I was like, oh my god,
that was so cute. Yeah, you can flip tables and I'll clean up the table.
Yeah, and he was like, take care of the rest. The consequences basically is what he was saying. I think it's just so sweet, and it says a lot because I think that guys, that's how it should be. Guys should always stick up for their wife, their significant other. Yeah. No matter what. Yeah. No matter, because there are a lot of like mommy's boy
or in general, you don't want to say anything to your mom or your family, your grandma, elders, because like you're younger, you're supposed to respect them, and that's how it was back then too. Especially for him to stick up for her like that was like pretty major.
Yeah, everything that they were doing was really out of the norm.
Very.
And breaking a lot of stereotypes and norms back in the day, for sure. And she's representing this kind of shift in time, in the time period.
What's that song that goes, in the name of love? I can't even sing. My voice is gone.
That's what was playing whenever he jumped off the boat and was swimming towards her.
In the name of love. I can't sing. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. But back when I was watching it, I kept telling Lanan that I was like, why did they have to live with them? Because they didn't even want them together in the first place, Sim's family. And Lanan's like, okay, so afterwards, right after they left, they kind of have to live by themselves, yada yada yada. Somehow they were successful. They got a boat. They have money now. Whatever. They have sons.
Thanks to her Sunny's grandma.
Yeah, Sunny's grandma gave her money. I don't understand why they had to go back and live with Simp's mom and grandma, because I was like, why would they do that? Because they didn't even the whole scene where they're like, Simp was like, oh, I'm not letting you see Sunny again, or vice versa, like, I'm kicking her out. The grandma and the mom's like, I'm kicking her out. And then now they're living together solely because they're successful now. And I was just like, I thought that was messed up. But Lennon was saying that's just how it was back then. Family is kind of like, I want to say everything, it's just how it worked. Like, you just like bound to like live with each other.
So poor, you rely on each other too.
I guess so.
But yeah, Amy was mentioning that and mentioning how the grandma giving Sunny the money for the boat also like threw you off, right?
Yes, I was explaining why it threw me off, because the way the show portrayed it or conveyed it, how I took it, at least when I'm reading it in English, it's like, oh, they earned that money, and now they're successful. Everyone's cheering them on. They're happy. And I mean, honestly, like, I'm gonna be happy too. I went from dirt poor to now I'm like pretty high status. I have a boat now, but the way the show conveyed it, it was like as if they earned their own money. No, they didn't. Sunny's grandma gave her money. Like, it was handed out to them, and that's why they're successful. They didn't show like, oh, I'm grateful that I was given money. They just like cut to the scene, like after they got the money, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make sure we're gonna make use out of this money.
Yeah,
but they just cut the like right next like to that scene. They got a boat already. They didn't show the progress of like getting it, so it didn't feel like hard earned. And I don't know, it just threw me off.
I was saying, I think it seemed that way. Well, for one, is because they jumped to the scene of them just buying the boat. But I think also another thing is, I feel like with this show, you need to understand the culture of it to understand like the impact. Because at that time period, because it was so difficult to get money, her grandma giving her that money wasn't seen as like, it wasn't seen as, oh, she's just handed things, because it was like a luck. Yeah, I think. Oh, that's like another thing too, is that I think the theme of the show, one of the themes at least, was that whenever you do good, you get good in return. So even when you're dirt poor, living a very horrible life, just continue to choose the right, and good will come back to you. I think that's one thing. But another thing is, whenever the grandma, back in the day, it was a lot more normal for things to be passed down. You know what I mean? Like houses and stuff, like you inherit it. It's not like over here. I think in our time period right now, right, it would seem so spoiled, and oh, you just got lucky because of how the difference in our society now, but also the work pace and everything, you know what I mean? So if you just get handed a house, it's obviously not the same as if you worked for it right now. But back in the day, because everything was so difficult, how it worked was usually you inherit the house. She didn't have a family to inherit anything from, so this is like
seen as normal. A reward.
It was like normal.
Oh, it was seen as normal that she got money?
Yeah, because usually people inherit like houses and stuff anyway. So this is like, if anything, really good for her, because she didn't have family. So now this is like the least that like she could have gotten.
The way I could only see this culture is because they were so poor. Even though she was given free money from her grandma, and you said it was normal, like that's pretty normal.
That like things are inherited, yeah.
That it's something to celebrate. Like, you're like, even just a little bit of like rice, you know, they're just like so happy, so they're just like celebrating. It's not seen as a cocky way, like, okay, cocky is not the right word. I kept using that before. Cocky is not the right word, but it's just something to celebrate. It's like a good thing. It's like happy.
I think because at that time people are just going on life off of hope.
Yeah, hope.
Off of pure
Anything.
hope.
Yeah.
That's why, like, whenever you get free rice, that's like, oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Life is like
Good. Yeah.
Life is going towards a brighter future.
Yeah.
Because that's they live off of these little hopes.
Yeah.
And so whenever they got that money from the grandma, gave them motivation in a way. Like, this is,
something to look forward to.
I guess, something to look forward to, but like,
Because
it gave them hope that like they will have that brighter future and they're not gonna end in dirt poor.
No, yeah, because whenever she had her first child and like after they got married and got kicked out and they had to live by themselves, they were living it rough. It was so rough. The simp, he was working
It was
like
bad.
so bad. He was,
Because he was treated very bad as well.
yeah, it got to the point where even pregnant Sunny had to run and tell. She's like, "You, what's that word?"
She yelled down the whole fish
Strip,
market,
yeah.
and everyone's like, "What?"
Wow, she was pregnant too.
That was so funny.
That was cute. She's
Yeah.
bitch. To Sim's boss.
Yeah.
Boss.
I was telling Amy because whenever we were discussing this briefly before about how she viewed it in that way, and I didn't see a problem with it, but I think the biggest thing is just understand the impact of the show fully. I think understanding the language and the culture, the time period is really, really important because the show uses a lot of different kind of poetry it's a very poetically written show. So they'll say certain sayings that there's not a direct translation for in English. You know what I mean? Or you have to understand the culture to understand the meaning of what they're saying. Things like that. I feel like every single time they do have things like that, things like every single time they have those kind of quotes and little sayings here and there that are more like poetic, they're supposed to kind of show it's like a figurative language situation going on to show the shift in the time period, the gender norms that she's breaking, and one of those times is in the boat scene at the end of episode 5
Because the woman, it's seen as bad luck to be on the boat at all, and Simp wanted her to draw something on the boat with paint, and she was like, I can't do that. He's like, yes you can. I said so, you can. And she's like, okay. And she got her daughter on the boat.
Well, she was very hesitant at first because even herself, she does do a lot of things out of the norms, but that was the one moment where you could see her like the influence of the adults still kind of in her because she believed in that still, and she was still hesitant. She was gonna stop her daughter, but because she already went through all that and she's so for woman doing whatever, she couldn't find herself to stop her daughter. That's when her daughter went, and eventually she went too. And it was very significant because that's their own boat. That's why he really wanted to, for her to write something, but it's also that boat was what changed their life. And for her to like, I shouldn't be going on there, you know? But I thought that was really cute too. I really, really liked his character. How he stood up for her. That's how, I feel like that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. He's a simp, but he's a man too.
A manly simp.
A manly simp. And he listens to her.
Yeah. And that's where episode 5 ends off.
I freaking love the show so far, at least in the beginning, because it made me cry. The first episode made me cry. It was so good. The hype is worth the hype.
Yeah. This is so refreshing too. I'll say that. Because I think the past few shows we've been hating a lot.
Yes.
And this is what we mean by there are good K-dramas.
Like, I'm like,
well done.
I was like, maybe I don't like K-dramas. K-dramas could be done right. And this one is one of them. Yep. When Life Gives You Tangerines. Very good.
I'm really excited to watch the rest because then we're going to see more of the daughter too. And the difference between their generation and how Sunny's upbringings affects her kids.
Wait, can I say may that love find me? May that love find me. Oh my god, that's beautiful. He swam across the ocean for her.
He turned into Michael Phelps for her.
Nah, he was not no Michael Phelps. He was a mermaid. What's it called? That
He was a
Australian
fairy.
show?
Oh,
no,
wait.
no, the Australian show. Clayar, Clayar. Oh no, Clayar.
It's time for us to go.
Okay, it's time to dream.
Close your eyes, shut your mouth.
Dream us out. Dream.